Hello and welcome to the Swole Initiative Network. You are watching the Fables of Gahlia. Welcome in, welcome in. Before we jump into tonight's episode, haha, yes, we're going to do some shout outs to some amazing brand partners of ours, starting with Stacks.
Awesome. Swole only roll with Norse Foundry's amazing gemstone and metal dice. Also, all of our featured music comes from the free library available on Apple Music and Spotify by the one and only Norse Foundry. Use the code SWOLE, SWOLE, to save 10% at norsefoundry.com.
Incredible. And Betty.
Also, big thanks to Griffin Co., where all of our 3D printed and custom terrain comes from the incredible folks over at Griffin Co. I double-ended that sentence because I made something up at the beginning and didn't read the copy. Anyway, check them out over at griffinco.com, and you can use the code SWOLE, that's SWOLE22, SWOLE22, and get 22% off of your purchase.
Amazing. And last but not least, Ashley.
That's me. In the race to get through the Discord updates and pull it up, I lost. Hello, Hero Forge. Hello, Hero Forge. I'm talking directly at you. How you doing, buddy? You're our brand partner and our official sponsor of this show, Fables of Gahlia. And you know what? We appreciate the heck out of that. All of our fully custom player minis come from the awesome Hero Forge. That's you. Design yours today at heroforge.com.
Amazing. Thank you. Quick housekeeping stuff. Sub goal. We have a new goal. It is 50. Once we hit 50, we are giving away a very Ashley tentacle mug that was made by our friends over at Smooth Pottery, all handmade and things, and there's a little logo in there as well. It's embossed. You probably can't see. I'm too far away. But yes, that is what we'll be giving away, no matter what stream we are in, as long as you are in the US. When we hit 50 subs, regular subs, prime subs, gifted subs, all go towards it. So thank you so much in advance. And if you are already subscribed, then thank you so much as well. If you are subscribed, you can hit !roll and roll a d20 with the players, or !roll and then D and then a number based on like a d4, a d8, a d6, whatever you want, up to a d100. So you can go ahead and roll to your heart's content, or until the bot kind of slaps your wrist for doing stuff too much. Other than that, if you are not subscribed, that is totally okay. You are here viewing us and our faces, and that's the most important thing. So thank you so much for being here. But you are currently earning channel points, and channel points can be turned into flex points. If you go and click the flexing arm at the bottom left-hand corner of the chat window, you will see our wonderful player faces come up. Or no, character, not player. Character faces come up, and you can spend 1,000 points per player per stream. Yes. And once one player accumulates 10,000 points, they will get a flex point, which is basically an ask for the rule of cool. So it's your way of influencing the game. So, oh my.
Ooh, it's coming in now.
Yep, I see it.
It's hot.
Yep, there it goes. So yes, team up, decide who you want to get the flex, and then fire away. Yeah. Yeah. Ronan's got a lot of catching up to do, counting them all. Sweet. There's that. I feel like I got through things too quickly.
We also have a YouTube.
Yes, I was about to say we have a YouTube. If you hit !YouTube, you will get a link to go over there. We are currently up to date. We're just about to post last week's Dagger Hat. And we'll be current. Oh, I think there's a couple of episodes of Call of Cthulhu that we're slightly lagged on, but those will all be up very, very soon. So go over and view everything that you didn't view live, or watch it again. That's a big commitment to watch all that again. That's a lot of hours. But if you do it, thanks. Yes. Do I have anything else? I don't believe so. I think I got through things pretty coherently and like lucid. Yeah, sweet. Okay. Then I guess there is nothing left to do except roll the trailer for the Fables of Gahlia. And welcome back. So, last time on the Fables of Gahlia, our heroes had acquired a hostage of sorts. One of the tattered flags that had attacked them with their Tin Man companion. With trying to extort a message out of him to be sent back to the tattered flags, he decided that it would be better to take his own life than to have them do it for him. Leaving Wandright's workshop, you guys headed over back to the Shifting Grounds Cafe, where a bunch of students were assembled, reading and studying. You met Oswind, Ashley, Adeline's somewhat companion, fellow outcast, and they took a seat and were subjected to, or Adeline was subjected to, some familiar characters coming over to mock her publicly. And as that was happening, Lost walks away and activates his statuette of pantsing, dropping the pants of what's her name? Yes, Cassia, the human. And with a scream, that is where we come back in. Cassia looks around, wide-eyed, grabs her pants, pulls them up, and just bolts for the door. The stark white tiefling girl kind of looks back and forth at you guys and Cassia running out, and starting to say something, kind of trips over her words and then runs off after her, followed by her elven friend as well.
As they run out the door. Next time, pronounce her name correctly.
So good seeing you.
They do not respond, and they take their leave.
So, you know, fate is a wonderful thing. Things happen because they're supposed to. And, you know, what goes around comes around, and
That was. God, that was the best fucking thing I've ever seen!
I mean, I had nothing to do with her pants falling down, but I mean, things happen to people. Like, when they are bad.
Wait, you think fate caused her creatures to.
Do you think that I saw Lost with the statue?
He said he was walking to the bathroom and kind of took it out along the way. You can give me I guess a perception check. I'm going to say with disadvantage, though.
Okay. Oh, I'm not gonna. Okay, disadvantage is a 14.
14. Oh, so you do catch like a little bit of light that comes off of the sort of makeshift sun that illuminates this area after it just completely changed into a very sort of fall-looking landscape. The sun glints off of the statuette, and you see it as he's putting it back into his bag.
I mean, fate comes to us in many different ways, and what's meant to happen happens.
Well, if the karmic payoff is public humiliation, then. Well, I've got to start being nicer to people, haven't I?
I mean, you are nice to people.
That's so nice of you to say!
Well, yeah, I mean, right, Roz? She's nice to people all the time.
Yes, one of the nicest people I know.
See?
Well, that's lovely. It's very lovely. Oh, goodness. You're all being a terrible influence on me.
What?
You're making me a better person.
Oh.
Is that
Is that
technically
not-
terrible?
Is that not the goal?
I jest. This has indeed lifted my spirits in a way after, gosh, more excitement than I thought we were in for today. But the most exciting thing is yet to come. Wait until you see the library.
I'm excited. Did you want to go there now?
Well, I don't think things will get any better here than they just have been. quite accustomed to attention, in a way. I was horrified when Lost kind of started this whole shenanigan, but well, I think I quite liked it.
I think that we're having an influence on Lost as well.
I think so. We shan't tell him, though. He'll revert back immediately.
No, yeah, we'll keep it a secret.
Adeline,
Yes.
are those girls always like that around you?
Well, not always. I remember a time when we were about 4 where we played on the swings, though their version of playing was often pushing me so hard that I felt, you know what, I'm connecting a lot of things. Yeah, they have always been a bit like that. It got worse when we were preteens, of course, and I started, you know, it's hard to make friends sometimes when you're so focused on your academics and being recognized for such, and in such a competitive place as the Institute. It's well, that's not really a quick way to make friends. Outside of those who also care about those things, like dear Oswin here.
I think sometimes, and this was the case sometimes with me and Lily and our aunts, when someone is doing well, or maybe even better than you feel a little jealous.
Gosh, I don't know what they could have to be jealous of me for. I mean, they're all, you know, they're popular, they're beautiful, they.
But you're powerful.
And also absolutely stunning, but...
Oh, gorgeous, of course, yes. Yeah, gorgeous. That goes without saying.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank you. Perhaps that is where it comes from. It's a comforting thought in some way that anyone could be envious. Well, and if they are jealous because I'm powerful in some perceived sense, well, gosh, they've seen nothing yet. Just wait.
I mean, if they had seen half the things that you've been doing with us over the past couple of weeks and how you really, I mean, kept us alive in some instances, they'd probably be more jealous, and it would probably make your life even worse, honestly, because I don't see people like that actually changing their character. But I do see people like that getting what they deserve, and
I do wonder about the
public
social.
humiliation. That works.
I wonder about the social ramifications and the fallout of this situation. Though, to be fair, I don't feel like I'm quite culpable. I was only drinking my milk, which I've finished now. So I suppose we should head out to the library. This has turned into a lovely afternoon.
Oswin, would you like to come with us to the library as well?
I have some studying I need to complete. But a trip to the Membranum Arcanum. Yes, I would like that.
Brilliant.
And you can see kind of under his like sort of like tan feathers that kind of coat like his face. You swear there's like a little bit of pink just under the cheeks.
Which way is it?
Ooh, well, you can't miss it. It's towards the Institute. We'll head that way. Should we wait for Lost? Is he... Well, I suppose he probably doesn't care much for the... Do you think he actually just exited out the back to go back out to the pub or something? That seems like a cool guy move.
Yes. I can send him a message and let him know where we're gonna be.
I think they call it an elvish exit.
Canon. Yeah, I'll send him a message, or to let him know where we're gonna be. I'll do it on the way.
All right. Follow me.
I'll kind of follow behind, but like pace back a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, Lost. We're going to the library. I know you don't want to go. We'll find you at a pub later. I saw what you did.
A few moments go by, and you get that sort of prickle on the back of your neck that you feel when a message is inbound. And you hear in your head the voice of Lost. Oh no, did I miss going to the library? That is such a shame. I suppose you're right. I will meet you in the pub. And I don't know what you're talking about.
And I'll kind of like do that like schoolgirl like scurry to like meet up with everybody.
Like running with your backpack.
Oh yeah.
With it bouncing.
Lost is at the pub. We'll meet him later.
As I was saying, over here, one time I bought a quill from that, and it ended up being quite dull. I was very unsatisfied. Oh, but in the store over here, they have the finest quills.
As the scene trails off. Yeah, so heading towards the sort of the back end of the Institute of the Arcane proper, sort of nestled fairly close to the mountains, like protected by them. Coming into focus now with some of the smaller buildings out in front of you, you see this colossal structure. Stone, grays, with these conical roofs on these towers set. All, it seems disjointed. And the structures seem odd, like the towers kind of come up and then will move out on a diagonal and then keep going. It continues to kind of get bigger and bigger as you walk up to it. But off to the side is the Membranum Arcanum, another extremely impressive building. Sort of, the entire building is shaped in, how to describe it? Almost like a, I could see it in my head. I didn't have the words for it. It kind of comes up and then to a point on top. And the outside, where the doors are, those pillars that reach up into the point have this amazing gold, not like money gold, almost like a glow to it. And there's several more of these kind of like ribs that go along the building towards the back. But the entire building is seemingly made out of, like, the structure seems to be made out of this marble, which is jet black with these white veins in it. As you approach the doors, Adeline going first, you walk up to them and immediately they open as you walk through, and this place seems even bigger on the inside. Like, looking up towards the ceiling, it's still the same shape, but the ceiling seems to be sort of 20 feet high. There are rows upon rows of shelves and books going all the way down to the back, and then far in the distance you can see that even that back wall is coated in shelves which are packed with books. There are like no gaps anywhere on any of these shelves. And then sort of spaced out intermittently seem to be these sort of pedestals that have well, Adeline would know that they would be sort of arcane artifacts, and things of pieces of sort of old magic that are sort of kept there on display as sort of a memoriam to it. And you can see a few of the maesters kind of wandering around with their very sort of classic robes, which kind of cascade off of their shoulders. They almost have like the cardinal kind of like hood that goes on top of their robes, and then it cascades off again, which touches the ground. You can just about see the small sort of leather shoes poking out of the bottom of the robes, and the sleeves are almost cartoonishly long, as these maesters kind of like wander around doing what they need to. There are sort of a few students like wandering around and things. There is a small circular desk with a maester behind it at the front. What would you like to do?
Welcome, all of you, to my favorite place in all of the Institute. Isn't it lovely?
It's really beautiful. I've never seen anything like this before.
The doors close behind you. And as you walk step by step, your boots click and echo throughout the entire building.
I think Adeline has a moment of realization that the last time she was in this building was when she found this book that has been the source of all of her power that set this whole thing off. So this moment, I think she's kind of like overwhelmed with this very like circular sense of being back at where it all began. I think is a bit dumbfounded for words.
Do you stop to take it in every single time you come here?
Oh, it's been some time.
I mean, it's glorious, so I'd understand. I was just wondering.
It is a place deserving of reverence, to be sure. You put your belief in gods and faith. I put mine in books, in facts, in knowledge, And all of it's here. I think we have quite a few unanswered questions that we might ought to attempt to answer. Or at least... Holy shit! The guard dogs are on to us! They attack you if you have late fees.
They can smell them.
Oh my god.
As you were.
Right.
Look at that.
Look at him go. All right, there it goes. Right. So, there are a few things I'd like to inquire upon, I believe.
As would I, actually.
I actually was going to look up some information myself, so
Study session! This is my kind of party. And she'll walk up to the maester at the circular desk and just kind of like give like a little like tip tap tip on the desk.
Turns around and you see a familiar face. This is Maester Kelvan. Sort of a younger maester, for most of the maesters are old. Maybe not in appearance, but at least in age. But Kelvan has been inducted into the maesters probably about 4 years ago. So you actually remember him like before he was a maester, when he was within the school as well. But he stands there with this sort of short but very meticulously combed dark hair, this sort of like caramel kind of shade to his skin. Turns to you and says, "Oh, Adeline, how are you?" As it like echoes, you. It's like, oh, so sorry.
Yes, Maester, you said
Kelvan.
Kelvan. Maester Kelvan, goodness, it's so good to see you.
You don't need to call me that. Just Kel, it's fine.
Yeah, I can do that. Kel, that feels normal to say, to call someone by a cool nickname. Anyway, how are you? How are the books?
They're fine. It's been a few weeks since I've seen you.
I know, it's been ages.
Well, where have you been?
You're never going to believe this. I've been adventuring.
Well, I never thought I'd never see the day. I'm actually surprised you went outside.
Yes! I even slept on the ground.
Wow.
I know.
What a few weeks that must have been.
Crazy times. So many stories, none of them that I can tell. Though I am left with quite a few questions from my travels. And and my friends here. Sorry.
Oh, hello.
This is Rose. This is Rhapsody. And you know Oswin.
Oh yes, Oswald. Hello.
Oh, actually, I think you two have a lot to discuss between each other. Oswin, what are you saying that you? I'm just kidding.
Oswald actually pipes up and says, "I'm going to go and find a table. I'll be over here if you need me." sort of just like waddles off with his little short legs.
Osmond, he's great at finding tables. That's 2 in a row that he's done now.
Oh, really? 2 for 2.
I know. Big day.
Listen. Where would I find the tomes on interplanar travel?
Huh.
I'm doing an independent study.
Okay. You'll find them, and he kind of like describes the sort of area, the sort of like vestibule within like the shelves to go to. He does tell you that there's not a ton of books over there, but if you need anything clarified, it is best to go and see the professor about that. But yes, most of the literature has actually been done by him.
Oh. Fascinating.
So it's he's written a few books, but they're all his personal notes.
Which
Right.
professor is that?
It's the only note I've taken this whole time.
But you have the general area to sort of look within. In fact, no, he'd probably be able to give you like pretty much an exact shelf, like off of numbers, because you've been here so often.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Right, that's right next to the... Got it. Okay. I think my friends were looking for something as well.
Yes. What can I help you with?
I was actually going to do a little research on the celestial plane. Would that be in the same area?
You know, not far. A couple of sort of shelves over,
Okay.
and sort of explains the general area, but then gives like basically a shelf number to Adeline.
Right, I can show you. Balindor. That's it. It's one of the only 3 notes I've taken this entire campaign. Does that make you feel good? Like a steel trap. With a bunch of holes in it.
Like a steel colander of information.
Just a good old sieve of brain matter.
It only retains the chunks.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Amazing.
That'll be the 4th note I write down.
Do you happen to have any historical information on Devil's Fall?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very specific thing. Yeah, it's probably anything that we have is probably located like around that area as well. I don't know a particular like shelf because, like I said, that's a very specific thing, and there are a lot of books. So, yeah, sorry I can't be more help. But if you look over in that area, you should find something eventually.
All right, we'll give it a look.
Well, it looks like we're all going to the same place.
Well, look at that.
If we need anything else, we will come and ask you for it. Cal?
And he kind of like bows in a very facetious kind of way, almost sort of mocking the stuffiness of the position. Miss Beaumont. And then kind of gestures towards the rest of the Arcanum. So you guys can walk in. The sort of area is about sort of 50, 60 feet towards the back from where you are. Is there anything you guys want to discuss as you walk along before you start digging in?
Rose, what was it that you were researching?
I wanted to look up some information about the celestial plane.
Yes, I think that's quite relevant.
I do too. There's been some things bothering me since my encounter with Lily's mother, so I was gonna look up some information.
I see. Goodness, yes, we just have so many questions, and I fear we've only just scratched the surface that leads to more questions than answers. Isn't it exciting?
Yes.
And perhaps Devil's Fall.
Yes, it's very close to where I'm from.
Yes, I believe you said as much. I'll be interested to see what you find. I know that information about the temple is, well, most people consider it just legend. So I'd be curious to see how the truth has been transformed into folklore, almost.
It's
My
really
Mr.
interesting the interpretation everyone out in Gahlia has about the temple. I mean, I grew up there, so obviously mine is a little bit different, but just goes to show that what you think might not actually be what others consider. But hopefully, we will have more information than we did when we arrived.
That's the whole point of libraries.
Adeline, as you walk by, you suddenly get this sort of sink in your stomach as you realize that this area is right next to a pedestal contained within this sort of thick bell-like glass top. You see faintly glowing teal crystals of druidite.
I've passed this. I don't know how many times. Just walking by, getting books, doing classwork. Wait, so was this here like previously?
Yeah, it's just sort of that walk along triggers that memory, but it hits differently this time.
Right. I've passed this so many times I've never thought twice about it.
Has that always been here?
Yes, there's Druidite is, as you've seen, extremely powerful and
Yeah.
it's studied here in some regards. Its formation is a big part of our history and the source of magic in some sense. Isn't it crazy that Something can just be almost nothing to you until you have some experience that changes the way you think of everything, and now it's so significant.
And Rose will grab a piece of her like stark white hair and wrap it around her finger, and she'll be like, I understand what you're saying. We've been through a lot. And I have a feeling that we've only scratched the surface.
Think of all that we've learned just in the past few weeks. Think of all that we'll know 3 more weeks from now, 3 more weeks from then, 3 years from now. It isn't. You know, I always thought that you could know everything there is about the world from reading it in a book. In a place such as this, so far removed from any of the actual danger you're reading about and the actual experience, you could still know about it and learn about it. But this stone, which has always just been a curiosity, some inert symbol of magic to study, but nothing more than that, it means so much more now. I couldn't have learned that here.
I think the same is true of religious studies and faith. You think you have all of your faith in this one thing, and still you're surprised by either conjuring more faith somehow or wavering a little. You don't know until there's some kind of adversity in your way.
Are you wavering, Rose?
Right now, no. But I should have never used the Druidite.
Me neither. Though it was so fucking cool.
It was pretty cool. Very powerful. But I'll promise you, I won't again.
Anyway, I think our books are this way.
You like stand there waiting for her to like promise that.
Yeah, there's an expectant pause that Adeline just kind of nods through. Anyhow, I think our books are probably over here.
As you exit the extremely sort of pregnant silence, you find the sort of vestibule that talks about different planes and things. What is it that everyone is looking for exactly? Not all at once.
I am. Oh, and then all at once. We're just so in sync.
Go ahead, Ash.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to find specific. Okay, I'm looking for 2 things: testimonials from individuals who have traveled amongst the plains, and kind of like writings of their experience, kind of that type of thing, kind of like travel journal, like those kind of things, firsthand sources on that. Secondly, kind of like the type of training or like spells or magic that makes puncturing the planes possible.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, you have an exact shelf to look through. So those of you who have an exact shelf can roll with advantage. But I do need an investigation check.
Okay. 24.
24. Yeah, you sort of running your fingers along the spines of the books, sort of scanning the titles for something that kind of jumps out at you for what you're looking for. You do find a book titled Walking in the Fae. As you pull it out and flick to sort of the foreword, it does talk about moving through planes. This one, especially for the Feywild.
I have to get it out of my system, but as soon as you said that, I got Walking in Feywild stuck in my head, like to the tune of Walking in Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
And that's been playing on repeat, and I had to say it out loud, and now it's purged from my mind. ADHD. Go on, please.
All good. If no one else, this channel understands. Cool. Okay. We will get back to that as you sort of open the book and sit down to sort of start picking through. So it was testimonials, and what was the other thing you wanted?
Like the specific, like spells or like magical, like talismans or like items that make that possible. Like.
Got it. Yeah. With a 24, I would say that you would come across like a book discussing like the arcane around interplanar travel and all sorts of things as well. So, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Rose, what are you looking for exactly?
I want to see if there's any books on encounters with people coming from the celestial plane. So, like, be it spirit or God, or so coming to and from. And then anything on accessing the celestial plane, be it Mount Celestia or if there's other ways. And then just for like a sprinkle of, I think she would look for this anyway, anything about celestial weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or sets of weapons, if you see what I'm getting at.
But no, I understand.
Okay.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, okay. You have a shelf, so you can roll with advantage. Give me an investigation check.
I rolled double threes. So that's a 4.
Okay. So.
Damn, I had good ideas too.
With that, so it was celestial weapons and then encounters with celestial like beings and things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then access points.
Okay. You don't find anything to do with access points. But you do find a particular book that discusses celestial beings in sort of a more general sense. So if you spend some time reading through it, you may be able to garner some useful information from that.
Okay.
But with a 4 total, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time there trying to
Yeah.
get through. Maybe you're just being very meticulous with all of the words on every page, trying to absorb everything, and so it takes you a lot longer to get through the book. And Rhapsody.
For Rhapsody, I would imagine it's not so much a looking for too specific of information about Devil's Fall. It's more like a feeling, a guidance. He's going to kind of, I guess, in tandem with my eye for detail for his roguish talents, he's just gonna like trace his hands along the books in that area, and as he's walking down, kind of remembering when he first came across Devil's Fall and why he felt like connected to that area. He's going to use that, but in lieu of information, it's more of just like a understanding. So like origins of Devil's Fall, or like if there's any sort of connectivity with him to Devil's Fall.
Okay.
Because he believes that Rose would have the celestial portion covered, plus he still has those 2 books that he has to read about it. He's just seeing if there's any other factors that might be connecting pieces, since it all seems to be connected.
Okay, yeah. You do not have a particular shelf because you go in for something so specific, but you can go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Okey-dokes.
Unless you have anything that gives you advantage on it.
Not that I could think of. No.
Okay.
Okay, not bad. 17 plus 1.
Okay. 18. So going through more or less like the same shelf as Adeline, you find a book that talks about the abyss and the hells, given that they're different planes. This is the only one that kind of has anything to it to do with what you're looking for, so that's probably your best bet if you want to take that one.
Okay, he'll take that book and kind of head back over to where Oswin found a table.
Okay, cool. All right, so Adeline, looking for accounts of interplanar travel. So you start reading through this sort of almost like a memoir, but also kind of talking about the sort of magical implications as well. It's written in sort of there's a little bit of fluff to it, like he was trying to sell books, but at the same time, it is there are sort of like scientific, like magical, like arcane notes that are taken, theories and things as well. But it tells you about Dazalin, who is an elf, still is an elf. He's still alive. And given that he felt more connected to the sort of Fey origins of the Elven side, and so dedicated a lot of time to sort of trying to get back there to sort of experience that. And eventually he manages to. There is a veil that he found at the foot of a mountain-sized tree.
Interesting.
But he managed to pass through this veil, and it describes about walking through it and things. It's initially it kind of sounds like when the wall opens up for you, that kind of like translucent sort of viewing point that has a little bit of resistance to it as you push through. But it goes on to describe like everything that he found over in the Feywild. Was there anything in particular about these sort of testimonials, memoirs, things that you were really looking for? Because you rolled really high, so.
I think the name was important to potentially like seek that out, but also do I get the sense that this was like some like powerful like wizard or magic person or whatever, or that they just kind of like...
Yes, given that the book was inducted into the Membranum Arcanum, it must have been respected.
And, okay, additionally, did this person bring anything back with them?
A few pages in, you sort of like flicking through, you get to like a bunch of sort of chapters talking about the different Fey courts and things and his sort of interactions with them. You do find that he was gifted a small wooden toy rocking horse, just sort of like model size. But that was given to him.
Adeline takes very detailed notes about like the location that he's describing and like the process of like getting into this veil. She's also going to take a sheaf of paper out and take it, and then also notes about like, you know, her impressions of this person, their name, any like evidence of like where they might be, like that kind of thing, and like about the item and stuff. She's also going to take a separate sheet of paper out and just write about like the location and the process of getting in for Brenthar, to share with that, but not necessarily share all of what she's found. Interesting. Okay.
Now, you would know, given that you are extremely studious, that the gifts that are given by the Fae tend to be like, there's this weird juxtaposition where the boring is exciting, and the exciting is kind of boring, because what the material plane would assume to be really exciting events is like every day in the Feywild. And conversely, like the boring kind of like captivates them. And so that may give you some kind of indication about the rocking horse being a gift from a Fey court.
Interesting. Okay.
Cool. All right. Rose. It does take you a while, but even in the like studious halls of the Membranum Arcanum, which is all based on arcane study for hundreds of years, they do give way to acknowledgement of the gods, acknowledgement of their existence. And it's strange to read a book that speaks about the gods in a way that just kind of treats them like a different kind of people. there's no sort of there's respect there. It's not like they're trash talking them or anything, but
No reverence.
it's very neutral and very sort of this happened and they did this, and there's no sort of like high and mighty, or there's no sort of adjectives before the names of gods and things that sort of praises them, which strikes you as odd. But nonetheless, you read on, and you do come into some occasions where aspects of gods have been met with on the material plane. Not the god itself, but kind of this avatar that is kind of presented onto the material plane. You know, late fees. You read about an encounter with Bahamut, the Great Platinum Dragon, and there are sort of a couple of others mixed in there, but so it was encounters and the celestial plane itself, like waypoints.
Yeah, access points.
Yeah, that was the thing you didn't get.
Yeah, and then the last thing was on
the and so reading through this sort of very factual book lays out the order of the celestial planes. They do come in different heights. Not that one is more important than the other, but there is a rhyme and reason to everything there. Everything is meticulous. You come to a section that talks about the judgment of Asmodeus. So you read in, and the story goes a little something like this. Asmodeus was originally one of the highest ranking angels in the celestial plane. He was sent with a few of his company to battle the demons in the abyss. They were trying to break through into the material plane to cause death, destruction, chaos, just everything in their demonic nature. In order to stop that, the angels were sent down to battle with them. But being in this new plane, the planes of the hells, whereas the brink of where the hells meets with the abyss on this sort of neutral ground that would become known as the Blood Wars. The longer that Asmodeus and his compatriots stayed down there, the more the plane started to have this effect on him, this sort of warp to him. He remains extremely lawful, but starts to see that a different tactic is needed because they're just fighting and holding the line but making no ground. And so he begins to create contracts to recruit more souls into the Blood War. He writes these contracts and sends them off with other demons. They are agreed upon by and targeted sort of wicked souls or vulnerable people who agree to these contracts for a very sort of short payoff that forfeits their soul. After finding out about this, the celestial plane summons Asmodeus to be judged for all of what they deemed as atrocities. Zariel, the angel Zariel, was probably the angriest, sort of on the same rank as Asmodeus when he was part of the angelic order. He stands in front of the god of justice, and I forget his name right now, but nevertheless, he stands in front and pleads his case. To the T, he didn't really do anything wrong. He stuck by rules, the mortals agreed to it, and that was that. And so his soul was allowed to continue to exist, his being was allowed to continue to exist, but in complete sort of rejection of the way that he does things. He was banished from the celestial plane and was thrown through the celestial plane, breaking through the barrier into the material plane and crashing through what would now become known as Devil Falls, where he sustained a wound so great that it has never healed to this day, and it continues to drip with blood, where pit fiends are said to sprout from the ground where his blood falls. More and more time goes on, and he becomes the Asmodeus that we know today, Lord of the Nine Hells. In the angelic order, it does talk about the sort of armaments that they have, different swords and things. There's little sketches, and you do indeed find a blade in there, a sketch that looks very, very familiar.
Would Rose draw connections, like who gave the weapon to Raz?
Hush. Have you said?
Oh, do we not know that?
I think you have.
I think I told him.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Was it your dad?
It was his father. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think Rose would try to draw any conclusion. I think she would just bring this to his attention.
Okay.
I would assume that Rose knew some of this information.
Yes, the sort of more general stuff.
General, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I will leave that where it's at for now and bring this up in a moment.
Cool. Okay. Rhapsody. So you were looking into the Devil's Fall and potentially the connection that your sort of bloodline has with that area, why you felt that particular way. With an 18. So you find a passage that talks about the sort of splintering of the angelic order, where Zariel, who lawful good to the T, couldn't get past her once comrade turning the way that he did. and so gathered up a small group of angels under her and humans as well, just together in order to take the fight to Asmodeus, to take him down. They entered through Devil's Fall, seemingly confirming that that is another sort of veil of some sort somewhere. There is a way through into the hells through there. Breaking through, she began to fight through mainly demons at this point. They were sort of on the losing side of one of the battles of the Blood War. And so all these demons presented themselves. And so in order to, she had to kind of switch her objective in order to prevent the demons from breaking through into the material plane. And so took the fight to them. And many of the humans fell. And it got to a point where Zariel and her sort of number 2 in command and Dariel were left the only angels standing. They sent the humans away, made them flee, and held the line until they couldn't anymore. And that was the last time that the angel Zariel was seen.
I think Roz will read that passage, kind of like leaving it on that page. Slowly take out both of those other 2 books. He has one on celestial lore and creatures and another on the orders. And then like slowly page through until there's like connecting parts.
Yeah. And eventually you're able to sort of triangulate everything that cross-references. They're all said in different ways, but the main facts of the stories are all like cohesive. They all agree on the same main facts. Rose. As you start to like close your book, you hear this sound, this almost like reverberation in the air, except it's not in the air. As you start to look around, no one else seems to be reacting to this sound. What do you do?
Is there a direction? Is there a direction it's coming from?
As you get up and sort of take stock of what is around you, the sound seems to only be inside your head, so it's very hard to get a sort of a direction out of it, but there's something that's drawing you, so you start to put one foot in front of the other cautiously. What do you do?
Whatever direction I'm being drawn. I will look to see if anyone else again, is acting like they hear something.
No one reacts.
I will allow myself to be drawn in whatever that direction is.
As you are pulled further in to the library, even further towards the back, you come upon a pedestal with another one of those sort of bell glass jars over the top of it. As you get closer, you feel this warmth that grows almost to a point of heat. And the sound is almost deafening. If your ears were hearing it, it's almost deafening. But as you approach this bell glass jar, you look in and see this stack of what seem like old papers.
Are they doing anything? Are they like vibrating? Are they glowing? Are they...
Do you approach?
Yeah.
As you get closer, this stack of papers starts to shake very, very slightly. The closer you get, the more violently they shake, and they start to arrange themselves, and the sort of the torn, tattered edges that seem to be sort of blackened and ripped with pieces of them missing start to reform and unfold and stack themselves until there is a stack of what seems to be almost tarot cards with a gold outline around it with this beautiful purple design on the back of them, but it sits now after vibrating and unfolding and putting itself together, a pristine stack of cards.
But it's under a glass jar.
Yeah. You're about maybe 7-8 feet away when you see it start to do this.
I am going to approach all the way.
As you approach the cards, that gold starts to thrum with this pulsating, consistent pattern to it.
Is it gold that I recognize?
It's pretty close.
I'm gonna, still on the outside of the glass, I'm just gonna reach out my hand.
As you reach out your hand towards the glass, the top card starts to shake and then rises up, twisting in the air above the stack below the top of the jar. Twisting around, you see the detailed back, the gold leafing around the outside, and as it turns to face you, you see a picture of 3 women with the words, "The Fates," underneath. And that's where we're going to take our 10-minute break.
So sick.
Thank you for hanging out with us for now. We will be right back. We're going to take a quick 10. Stick around to find out what's going to happen with this stack of cards. We'll be right back, guys. When I can find the button. Here it is. And welcome back. So, last we left off, there we are. Last we left off, we left Rose leaving her hand extended towards the glass, inches away from it, as a card from this deck of newly formed cards levitates off of the top, spinning on an axis to reveal the card of the Fates. As it turns to face Rose, what do you do?
I will keep my hand extended. Focus on that card. Completely understand that this is something that is... It's a sign from Eastus. And she's going to just continue to hold her hand and almost like beckon the cards to her.
How do you beckon them? What do you draw on?
I think I have a flex point, so I would like to use it like this.
Oh, do you really?
Mm-hmm.
I must have missed that.
Nope, just kidding. I don't have a flex point. Dang, never mind. Well, she basically is going to like wheel this glass away. Like, it's not shattering, it's not making noise. And if there's some kind of spell on it, like alarm spell, like she's just going to basically, it no longer exists.
There you go. I gave you a flex point.
Thanks. So I'm going to use my flex point to make the glass disappear.
To make the glass disappear?
Yeah, it just vanishes from existence.
Okay. That doesn't happen. But...
I mean, Eastus can do anything, so...
But...
With the power of Eastus, I can do anything, so jot that down.
But what does happen? That reverberation, that vibration, moves into the pedestal and then into the glass bell, and it starts to shake very, very slightly, not quite causing a sound, but with your hand stretched out towards it, the glass shakes, and suddenly, one by one, in rapid succession, the cards start firing underneath the glass, between the glass and the pedestal, extending out into your hand, building a perfect deck.
Is the fate card still on top?
Yes, all of the cards were pulled.
She's going to put them in her pocket and walk back to everybody else.
As you go to put them in your pocket, you think about sort of storing them, putting them away, and from your grasp, because they're tall cards being tarot cards, so your hand doesn't quite encapsulate the whole thing. But again, just as they had escaped from underneath the bell jar, one by one, they start to disappear into your sleeve. You don't feel the cards. You watch them go into your sleeve, and you don't feel them. Like, you don't feel their touch.
Right. Okay. Just into one sleeve?
Yep.
She's gonna put two and two together and figure out that, maybe that makes 6. And then she's gonna think about the card and do they reappear in her hand?
As you think about producing the deck one by one until they fill up into your hand rapidly.
And is it always backside up, like I'd have to draw? Okay. Huh. Do I know what this is?
Give me a religion check.
It's 24.
24. There was a story that was told to you about Eastus by your aunts to you when you were a young girl. A story about a deck of cards. Now, everyone took it as a story, like something to find meaning in rather than a literal story. But it tells of Eastus reaching into the heavens, into the stars, more to the point, and pulling the constellations into the form of a deck of cards. You do indeed have on you the deck of many things.
I'll put them away again.
And
I would take a moment just standing there, maybe close my eyes for a second. Thank you for still believing in me. And then she'll walk back over.
as you say that, and then you open your eyes once more. In the reflection of the bell jar, you don't see you. You see the face of Eastus, and she peacefully and solemnly just nods, and then as you blink again, it's your reflection once more.
Okay. And I'll just take off walking back over to where they are.
All right.
And she'll pick up the book that she was reading before, and Ross.
Rose.
So I was looking up different things about the celestial plane, and really I was trying to find maybe access points or more about Mount Celestia, but I came across the story of Asmodeus, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
A little bit here and there.
Right. Anyway, I found these sketches. And I'll
What
turn
kind of
the book.
sketches?
I'll turn the book around. This looks exactly like your dagger.
It's the sword,
Sword.
the
Whatever.
ceremonial sword. Yeah.
This looks exactly like your sword.
Does it look like his blade, or just like we have 20 of these and this just happens to be the one?
The only difference is that it doesn't have that tassel that is tied to the pommel of yours.
This does look remarkably like my father's blade. I also found a bit of information about Zariel, an angel of some sort. There's some type of connection between the celestial plane and the abyssal plane and the 9 hells. It's all connected somehow.
What do you mean? Like you can pass through one to another?
Well, this passage here says after, well, Devil's Fall became a thing, they went there. They went through that area to reach him, Asmodeus, but encountered a lot of demons, and there was a lot of fighting, and ultimately they were overwhelmed, and Zariel and the one closest to them kind of stayed behind.
Andariel.
Andariel. And they sent the others away, but that was the last anyone's heard of that angel, or those angels.
Oh. So Devil's Fall is an access point to the
Yes.
hells.
Starting to think there's quite a few for keeping track.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. I mean, there's stories of, the top of Mount Celestia potentially, I don't know, being a way.
To the celestial plane?
Yeah, it's things that I've heard before, but I couldn't find anything about it here.
Well, it's all very well kept. Implied at best.
Yes.
But it would seem that that type of information is kept under wraps, possibly to prevent others from crossing over so easily.
Yeah, that could wreak havoc, as we've seen.
But if there's a way to other planes spread out around Gahlia, what exactly is keeping other things from crossing over into here?
Well, I don't know, and I think that's part of the problem. Like with Lost Brother, he should not be here.
No, he shouldn't.
And is it crazy to think that maybe Zariel is still keeping demons from entering this world to this day.
I mean, it is a possibility.
I mean, there's a lot of power in celestial beings. I think that we're on the right path. Just being here in this building and with what we're doing.
It feels like we're really close to a discovery of some sort. I mean, even us encountering Adeline as we did, it could have been anyone that went to drop off that missive back when we first met her, and they might not have been as nice of a person to speak with.
It's true.
Having her and her gumption for knowledge, it's been, well, fate.
I try to tell you.
I've never given any indication that I don't believe in fate.
I know.
Adeline at the table nearby just kind of like raises her finger. Actually, it would have been my father, who is a lovely gentleman. But all the same, yes, I'm quite pleased to have known you as well. Now, please, this is a library.
How much softer must we talk?
Stage whisper.
Yeah.
Adeline, as you pull your finger into the air to correct your friends, you say the words, "It would have been my father." And suddenly, that sinking feeling you get again as the warmth is drained from your face. And you start connecting dots. Who did the letter have to go to?
No, it was the high
It was
Silas? Big guy?
The High Mage.
Big magic high mage guy.
And who did you have to pass through to get there?
Russ?
Yes.
Is that right?
It was Grigor,
Grigor.
Oh, Grigor. Yeah, we met Grigor there.
who seemed very annoyed that it wasn't your father.
Adeline, what's that look on your face? You look like you're deep in thought.
Just thinking. Gosh, we went over a lot of information at breakfast today.
Yes.
I'm just thinking, well, maybe in future I don't want to trouble anybody with our burden of knowledge. So moving forward, best we just keep those things to ourselves.
Insight.
I was about to say, I don't normally insight check, but insight check. And I can't roll less than a 20, so good luck.
On an insight check?
Anytime I roll
I
7
rolled
or
a natural
lower, it
20
counts
as
as
well,
an 8.
so it'd be 29.
Okay, it's a
Thank you
20.
guys. Got a 16.
What are you not telling us?
Being back here. Gosh, I'm not sure I ever told you the full story of it. The last time I was here, I felt this pull of sorts. I was here studying for class, as usual, and I felt this draw to this bookshelf back in this rarely frequented and slightly restricted section. And I found this book. She'll kind of take it and put it on her. It opened my mind. All of a sudden, I just heard a blood. But they weren't speaking aloud. I realized I could hear thoughts. A cacophony of them. I couldn't shut it out. I ran from the place, trying to find reprieve, and I found myself in a hallway. And I heard something that, well, it worried me. Changed my perspective. These walls that I always thought kept danger away, well, it contained secrets of its own. Danger of its own. For more secret, insidious, friendly-faced kind. I realized I didn't know who I could trust. I was worried for myself and my family. And I wanted to find out more, so I took that letter. It led me to you all. From my father's death. To deliver it myself. To get away from the voices. To try to weed out the source of the danger. To find out how high up it spread. I hadn't thought, faced with the dangers on the road, on our adventures, I hadn't thought about the danger at home for some time, but now, face to face with it, I can't shake that feeling again. I don't know who we can trust. Out of anyone.
Are you... Zero?
We left him at home.
We did.
We should go.
We need to go.
I am so sorry if I have brought you into some kind of danger that I have underestimated myself. I can't say sorry enough if this turns out to be something beyond I expected.
Fate would have brought us here, regardless. This is where we're meant to be. You hold no weight in that.
And we do this together. You're not alone, Adeline.
I believe that. I may not know where I can put my trust, but I know it's safe. And you, I know that. We should go.
We should.
She'll start packing up her notes and all of her belongings and stuff, and kind of take one, like, I think her hand will rest on the book, and she'll kind of like look off towards the direction where she got it before like taking it and putting it back in its place on her hip, and kind of feeling like a sense of belonging there with it. It belongs with her, and will kind of lead the way back out of the library towards the Beaumont house.
Yeah, replacing your books upon the shelves once more, hurriedly getting everything together. You take off towards the door. Kel goes to stop you to say goodbye, but you are so focused that you carry on, and he just kind of pulls back. You are outside of the Membranum Arcanum. Are you headed back to the Beaumont Manor?
On the way, I'll send another message to Lost. And give him a rundown in 25 words of what's happening.
Yeah, sure. You get a response that basically says that he will meet you at the estate.
It's like nearing like dinner time-ish.
I would
Isn't
say so.
it kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that there's many things that could be. And perhaps he was being sent somewhere with that letter to be killed. He might not be on the wrong side of things.
Rose, I know you think that's a comfort, but I'm not sure if it is.
I don't know. Isn't it a little more comforting to know that you could potentially still trust your father?
Or, angel on other shoulder, your abilities, Adeline, would you be able to tell if your father's been manipulated in any sort of way?
Perhaps. They don't know about that, and I'd like to keep it that way.
So if you tried to find
won't-
out...
He won't detect a thing.
Okay.
I don't push my luck too far. I can try. I never considered that it could have been within my own home. I left to protect them. I didn't consider. We don't know anything yet. We don't know anything yet.
You're right. Let's just get there. Check on Zero.
Yes. I'm sure everything's fine.
I'm sure.
As you, gather your things and head off towards the estate. Somewhere back at the Membranum Arcanum, Oswind looks up from his book. Where did everybody go?
Oh no!
Oh. Oh, and I told him I was going to invite him to dinner.
I don't have any more level 3 spell slots, so I can't message him.
Oh, that's going to keep me awake.
So after some time you arrive back at the estate. Are you just heading straight in? Like, what is the kind of feeling that you're feeling of intent that you're giving?
Compose.
Coming back for dinner, acting normal?
Yes. But I think not going straight to the dining room, kind of like wanting to check on Zero. So kind of like heading towards where we left him, guarding.
As you walk in through the door, sort of looking around in a sort of like trying to suppress the anxiety around all of these potential theories that are bouncing around inside your head. You turn to the left and see Zero stood at the edge of the hallway, just where you left him. He looks up and says, "Oh, hello. I've been playing guard."
You're doing such a good job of it, too, Zero. Okay.
Yeah, I got pretty good at waiting.
Is anyone else home? Has anyone else come back yet?
Your parents came back.
How do they seem? In good spirits?
I'm not sure that's something he can...
They seemed well.
Did their face look like this? Or like this?
Somewhere in the middle.
Okay, alright. Zero, you are relieved from your guard duties to enjoy some leisure. Perhaps we could play a game.
We just got done playing a game.
Did you like it?
Oh yes, I love playing all the games with my friends.
Then let's play another. Rhapsody, you are the seeker. The rest of us will go hide. And you must count to 200 and then come find us. Yes?
Oh, that's like brushing your hair twice.
Exactly. Zero, come with me. I'll help you.
Okay.
I'll go with you guys as well.
I'm gonna lead them up the stairs. Going to go in my room very briefly to my closet to collect some like a shawl, like a beret, some few little things, and then keep leading him towards Lucian's room, where I imagine in a corner is just like a pile of toys.
Stuff.
So very E.T. style. I want to affix Zero kind of in there and like cover any of like the hard bits with like the soft goods and like with the hat so that he kind of blends in this like menagerie of stuffed animals.
Yep. Just like the scene from E.T. He sits there motionless, smiling with his one large eye, but you can't see any of the like metallic side of him. It's just covered in stuffed animals.
Brilliant. Now, Zero, you stay here. I will warn you, sometimes this game can take a very long time to complete, but the goal is to stay very quiet and very still.
Do you think that's what the sad man was playing with me?
What? Did he tell you?
You mean because he left for a
Then he
bit?
never came back.
Maybe. Zero.
A very long game of hide and seek.
But, Zero, I promise you this. This game will not last as long as that one.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna pretend that wasn't the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life. Alright, let's go. Rose and I are gonna go hide in another room.
Okay.
Alright.
Shh. As he Homer Simpson backs into the wall of stuffed animals. Cool. All right, where are you going?
Jesus Christ, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We're going. We'll go to your room. I don't know. We have to talk about this.
Yes.
We'll wait till Rhapsody starts coming around the corner, I guess.
Well, I'll just like kind of go over to the like banister, like down to look into the foyer, where Rhapsody is like counting or like.
Mm-hmm. I'm completely counting. Is there enough room to just float fly up there without damaging the
House.
house? Or must I take the stairs like a peasant?
Yeah, no, you can.
Been one day in a manor, and now.
Yeah, no, you can fly. This is like the foyer area is huge, and it's they've got these like Romeo and Juliet stairs.
He'll like carefully do that and land by them.
Before dinner, I think we ought to figure out how we're going to approach this. They went today, presumably, to arrange a meeting between us and the High Mage. We don't know what they told him.
Adeline,
Yes,
you know your parents.
I thought I did.
Do you... Deep down, do you think they're capable of this?
They'd never want to harm me. I know that.
They probably never would want you to know as much as you do, either.
That's a given. They've been fighting that battle since I could read. I'm not sure if their motivation in that is to protect me, to shield me. I think for all the things I do know, which is a considerable lot,
Very much so.
I found him still quite ignorant to many things.
Contrary to what you might think, you can't know everything.
Eventually, you probably could, though.
There's
Like, if you
always
did
going
enough.
to be discovery. It's not going to happen.
That's the most frustrating thing I've ever heard in my life.
Sorry, but, realistically,
I'll grant you, frustrating but true, yes. So I worry that my naivete may have obscured my judgment.
I mean, you wouldn't think to suspect something like this from your own parents.
So if they are involved in some way, I can't imagine that any of the harm that has come our way, anything like that, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't have intended that, of course. You know, when we met Rusk, he threatened my family directly. He knew my brother's name. And that's been eating at me. Not only because, well, who threatens a child? But also, how would he know my family so intimately?
Leverage?
Why would he have had prepared leverage against the Beaumonts? Regardless of the situation, one of two truths is factual. That one, my family is an enemy to those who are after us. An enemy that they feel they need to have leverage against. This was my first assumption. I wanted to protect them from that. The other possible truth is that they are allied in some way. In both instances, I worry that the amount of information we've now shared with them brings them closer to danger, no matter which is true. Them and us.
Could they also be forcibly allied?
My mother's quite headstrong. It's hard to imagine her being forced into match.
But if it meant your life or your brother's life, do you think she'd comply?
In a heartbeat. Perhaps that's what it is. That's all it is.
Well, luckily for you, Adeline, you have not one, but two people that are very good at detecting if someone's lying.
And yourself. You can read their thoughts.
True. Yes. Either way, dinner shall be interesting.
Yes. And this may just be my own naivety, I don't think Silas is a bad guy. And it's just something I have a feeling about. I don't think he's inherently bad or trying to hurt anyone.
I think he's desperate. And in many ways, that's more dangerous.
a lot harder to treat someone who's acting out of desperation as an enemy when you can understand where they may be coming from.
Depends on the deeds they do in pursuit of that desperation. So far, the crimes committed against us is, well, most notably, I think the cave-in, the assassination attempt. That's pretty bad. Like that ranks up there.
Right.
Then there's also the covert mining operations and all of the black market dealing and all of that. Morally corrupt, maybe not evil, but we don't know to what end it's being used. And that, I think, no matter what truth reveals itself in the coming hours or days, that's what we have to sniff out. And if that means playing into the scheme, that's what we have to do.
We'll follow your lead.
And with that, you hear a very familiar sound, Adeline, as a bell rings from downstairs. It's the dinner bell. Dinner is to be served. And that's where we're going to end tonight. Holy shit, that was a lot of lore.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yes, thank you all for watching. Thank you to my wonderful friends for playing an awesome game with me. But yes, thank you for watching and being here. Thank you. I saw a couple of follows come through. Thank you for those. Yeah, we should probably find someone to raid, right?
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Mike is on. Let's do
go.
that.
Who's
Michael.
Who's this
Michael.
Michael?
What's his story? Is he still playing Mass Effect 3?
Mm-hmm.
What it says. Oh, Mass
How long?
Effect Legendary Edition.
Oh, so he's...
Oh, that's like all three.
Yeah, but I think he's on the third one. It's a long game, to be fair. I wonder if he's gotten to... He's doing a spoiler-free run.
There we go.
No one tell him stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Last level. Alright, he's seen some stuff.
He's seen some things.
Okay, so yes, we will be back on Monday for a community stream, possibly watching some paint dry. Then Wednesday for Daggerhat episode 2 after the big fight. And then Thursday again for Fables of Gahlia. All of these things. Hey, thank you so much, guys. Again, have an awesome night. Make sure you stay in for the raid as well to say hi to Mike and also grab those 250 bonus channel points. But yeah, we will see you next week. Have an amazing weekend.